Welcome to the San Antonio FC Fancast. I'm your host, Royce, and we have a full crew today. Let's go from...
On time, too.
Very funny.
I was late last week.
Oh, fair enough. I guess we're all...
I wasn't calling you out. Just that was me.
So peek behind the curtain. I normally do my show from my garage, and AC is not working in my garage right now. So I'm in the house. So if we get some
95 degrees.
Yeah, it was 95 in my garage. So I was like, nope, delayed. I'm going to go inside. So if we get any special guests, just be aware of that. Let's go from right to left. Matt's with us. Matt, how are you?
Good. Chilling. Literally. Great day.
Okay. We have Robert. Robert, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here and super excited about tomorrow's soccer lineup. A lot of good things going on. So
A lot of soccer tomorrow, right?
yes,
So
absolutely.
should be fun. Rafa, how are you?
Good. Live here from hot and steamy Del Rio, Texas at 105 degrees outside. Just here in the dining room.
Yeah, it's 103 over here, so not much difference. Harry, we have Harry.
I'm
how are
doing
you?
well. I'm doing well. Rafa is doing the Kaler special for anybody that doesn't know. Kaler last year with the USL show, minivan, truck, hotel. That's Rafa right now.
That's funny.
The nomad, the vagabond. Call him what you will for you Metallica fans. All right, so I'm gonna pass it off to Harry right off the top. We have some very exciting and important news to share regarding one of our colleagues.
How are you, Royce?
Oh, nobody cares.
Nobody cares
Harry,
about
go
Royce.
ahead.
What are you talking about?
All right, man. I try to be that good guy. All right.
Dude, that's first, dude. Man, I might have to clip this.
Yeah.
Royce,
Aw.
how are you? That's why
I'm
we
fine.
didn't do it, man.
Yeah, I'm fine.
That's why we didn't do it.
I'm fine.
He's not in
Harry,
the sauna.
yeah, I'm out of a sauna. Am I still sweating? I feel, yeah. So
You had a busy day at work. You already told us that. You had to
You don't
move
want-
shows.
nobody wants to hear any of this. Nobody wants to hear any of this. Harry, go ahead. Take it away.
Rafa, we'll let you, family of the SA Soccer Roundtable, has some news.
Yeah, so breaking news, I guess from the San Antonio Soccer Roundtable. A good friend from 50/50 Podcasts, the host, Coach Hector Cano, was named head girls soccer coach at MacArthur. So congratulations to him. Like I said, recently he was with St. Mary's Hall. Now he's with a part of the Brahmin Nation, and I know he's going to do a lot of great things at MacArthur. I know from what the conversations we've had, because I've known this for a little bit, kind of keep it a secret, but I think he's very excited about this opportunity. I know the players are very excited to have him. Even the school's excited to have him, and I can tell you this, kind of as far as previewing for, I guess early on. I know we're a few months away from the high school season. I think he's going to really do a really excellent job at MacArthur, and be on the lookout for them, especially in the playoffs. I think they got a good core back. I think with his experience and his leadership, he's going to be turning some heads there in that district. I know they're in that district with some of the SID school in Alamo Heights, but I have a good feeling he's going to do a lot of great things and maybe make some surprises there in the playoffs. So congratulations to him, and I'm sure he's watching right now, and we're excited to see how he does this coming season.
I have a question here for you. Obviously, to go from St. Mary's Hall to, I think you said it was a SAISD school, right?
No, Northeast.
Oh, Northeast.
Northeast.
For that here. The commitment that a coach like Coach Cano commands for that here, especially for a school like MacArthur, who historically has had great programs.
Mhm.
recently, not as much success here. What does that say about MacArthur turning around to invest in the program, and along those lines, and especially in girls soccer, along those lines, kind of the investment that it takes to bring in a top coach like Coach Cano, who's coached over at El Paso, coached obviously private schools here, and has experience with the Air Force Academy and stuff.
I think this is a great move. I think what MacArthur's looking into is taking that next step. Like I said, I got to see them play this year a couple times when I was there at Blossom. They had a lot of talent. They did make the playoffs, but they lost in the first round. And I think they wanted, and then like I said, when this opened up, they wanted to build upon that, and they found the right person here to not only get back in the playoffs, but go beyond and really kind of cement that, get that program to where it was before. And like I said, I know it's not gonna be done in a day and so forth, but he's got the tools, he's got the support, and he's that leadership and that experience is gonna help those girls, win a lot of some of those, maybe those games they lost close, especially that playoff game. They lost a close one on that one, which I know they were favored to win. I think him there on the sideline, I think he's going to be able to guide them. And who knows? He's going to surprise some teams. He's going to get these girls prepared. He did, like I said, I went to a couple of games there at St. Mary's Hall. He had some great teams. He led them to the playoffs 2 years in a row since he came back from Isleta. And like I said, I think this is a great fit for him, and he's going to really do a lot. It's just like I said, this MacArthur's really kind of salivating about taking that next step, and they got the right guy for the position.
So moving on, and like I said, if you are watching on your YouTube, or if you happen to catch us on YouTube or listen to us on a podcast, if you can go to YouTube, subscribe to SA Soccer Roundtable. That way, it helps pick up for soccer content, not only about San Antonio but USL along those lines. Helps with the viewership. Obviously, if you can give a like or comment, would be much appreciated for that here, just to help promote the show a little bit more.
Absolutely. Like, subscribe, hit that bell to get the alert for the next episode that we do whenever we decide to do it. And also
ish time.
Right. Also on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast platform you listen to. Subscribe, absolutely, and leave us a review. The reviews go a long way. In the search feature, it just helps us. It helps you help somebody looking for a podcast make it easier to find us. So that would be great, and that's always appreciated.
And if you're doing us, like I said here, our friends at Pro SAFC do an awesome job as well. They have a little bit different type of show than us, but good show as well. If you can comment on them, and like any lower league show, please like here. But we were originally going to go to Memphis, San Antonio next, but unfortunately, some news broke this afternoon by Tom Boger and Jeff Reuter from The Athletic. USL to vote on adopting promotion and relegation system, sources said. It's not saying that they're going to approve it, but it's more to say, are they going to move forward with it? And it seems like if they're going to move forward with it, there could be some significant changes starting in as early as next year, where, pending interest in ensuring the votes, new 3-level structure could be implemented as soon as 2024. And alternative next season could be used to determine which clubs will be at which level of the newly split championship for that here. So to me, this opens up a huge thing here for me personally. I think and for people not paying attention, this was something that was rumored 2017, 2018. COVID hit, it got kind of put on the back burner. I've spoke with other USL owners in regards to this, and the issue is always they want to have it, but what happens if you go down? What's that compensation wise? And especially in a league like this, and especially where owners are coming in, I do think they made a key point where at 2 levels, you really can't have it, because you got one league that's going to demote and one league that's going to promote, where you need to have at least that 3 where, you've got that middle tier where you can go up to the top division, you can go to the middle, or you can go all the way down. So it'll be interesting to see what this is. I'm going to push back on some people out there saying this isn't a vote on ProRel. It really is, because if there's not enough ownership support, it's dead. So that's where it stops. And if it moves forward, there's still a chance because they still got to work out the details. They still got to approve it. I'm interested to see what this 3-level structure. I think 2024 is probably a little bit early. I could see it more 2025 with ProRel kicking off in the year 2026 with the World Cup. That's what I personally think. But it wouldn't shock me where that implementation that they're talking about in 2024 is if they may go to a single table, or even because right now you got 24 teams in USL Championship. If you do a single table and go from there, it would be interesting to kind of see how that plays out. But that's just me. We'll start with you, Robert. Kind of your thoughts on promotion relegation with USL. Then we'll go with Matt, and then Rafa or Royce can decide who wants to go last.
Yeah, I haven't really dug into the topic too deep in terms of how it would apply directly to the league, but in general terms, I mean, the idea of having the ability to go up and down in terms of excitement, like it draws like additional attention. I mean, it makes even the bottom teams try that much harder to avoid that relegation. But like I said, some of the questions that come to mind is like, I think we talked about it briefly, was like stadium size, like impact financially. I mean, how is it going to be a situation where it may lead to some teams not necessarily or ceasing to operate? It just, there's a lot of questions that come into mind in general terms. But like I said, I'm excited about the idea. I mean, to me, like I said, it's going to draw that attention and make it that much more exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Robert said, I mean, it brings an excitement to some of those I don't want to say feeder teams, but like, I mean, hey, there's teams that want to be something bigger, and in a way, this gives them a chance. So, I mean, is it good for them? Heck yeah, man. It's like moving up in, I guess, per se EPL, but yeah, I think it's a good thing to implement, and makes these teams actually try harder to win games.
Rafa?
I think this is a great idea. I think this one, I think, throws it to the face of MLS. If this could succeed, it's gonna make the MLS kind of like, hey, we should have done this, instead of kind of like the members only club. Um, like Matt said, it's gonna motivate some teams to move up, but also it may also attract new ventures, new teams. It's not gonna be like the normal teams that we have. Like I said, I know there's less teams in League One, and there might be a little bit more of there in League Two, but it gives opportunities also to create maybe new rivalries. Like, who's to say, like I say, Corpus Christi ends up getting in the championship. Now we have a rivalry with them and so forth. Or maybe RGV ends up going getting relegated to League One and so forth. But I think it's exciting. I think this is just going to make the league a lot more fun, better, and it's going to attract the fans. And that's what the fans have been craving for a while, is for this promotion relegation. So I'm up for it. And hopefully it does. Like I said, hopefully it does pass, because I think we're going to have like a lot better quality soccer, more teams involved in the USL.
Royce?
All right. So here's the deal. Is this a good thing? It's a great thing.
Possibly.
But
say possibly.
exactly. So here's the reality check and everything. This means that USL is going to go directly head to head with MLS. We've already seen how that's gone for NASL. Not very well. And it's because MLS has the money. That's why it's structured the way it is. Single entity. No one is really at a risk in that league. And that it's built for that. Unfortunately, it's not built for competition. We know that already. But it's definitely built kind of to crush every other entity around it. it's a great thing because that competition and that is needed in the U.S. It's never really been here before. You don't know if it's going to succeed or not, but kind of the risk that's involved with it is if it does fail, which there's been more failures go up against MLS than successes. We all lose our teams. That's kind of what it could come down to. That's the risk. But is the risk worth the possible reward at the end? I think it absolutely is. It could lead to a merger down the road. Highly doubtful, but it could. And it'll be very interesting to see what FIFA does, because FIFA has always said if the U.S. can get a pro-rel Division I league, we will recognize that as a Division I league in the U.S., and MLS will discuss it, with what they recognize it as. But at the same rate, the Super League, they try to start the Super League in Europe. Mexico has basically gotten rid of pro-rel, so there's definitely
It's actually coming back.
there's what I'm saying
is
right, but what I'm saying is there's examples of basically pro-rel going away, or the forethought of not having pro-rel in a Division I league around the world. It's not really unique to the US anymore. It's not unique to MLS, but at the same rate, it's exciting for the league. If they pass it, that's a big thing. If they pass it, they're not passing it. But at the same rate, if they don't pass it, the writing's already on the wall. USL is not going to succeed next to MLS, with MLS going the rate that it's going and USL going the rate that it's going. It's not going to survive 20, 30 years down the road. So,
and there's a comment here.
You got to take a risk, but go ahead, Harry, take it away.
There's a comment here from MCG3459. He said he hadn't heard of it. It's a good deal to revisit in another decade. League still needs to get its feet under it and some stability going on, because they lost, clubs to MLS Next, which I'd argue they didn't really lose clubs because it was the MLS 2 teams for that here. But this is why they don't have 10 years to wait. MLS has already moved into League D3. It's no secret they want to go to D2. And there's in the article by The Athletic here, and this is the money line here for me. The reality is MLS will destroy USL long term on our current trajectory. So where they're currently at. But if USL can successfully adopts pro-rel and can get Division I sanctioning for the top level, it'll be transformed. And that's the key. They've got to, for USL, it's great where it's at. But just like with NASL, NSAL jumped too soon. And I'm going to disagree with you that it doesn't have its stability. USL is the most stable lower league team in USL lower league soccer history. It's yes, are we losing a team or two a year? Yes. Will we lose a team or two this year? Sure. But part of that is because there's no room to grow. And at least going through this avenue, and to me, the thing that we have to keep in mind, it's not a true
I'm gonna hold on real quick. I know you're rolling, but I'm gonna push back real quick on two things. So number one, the league is growing. Next year they're adding Rhode Island, and then the year after that they're going to add Milwaukee and possibly New Orleans.
What about Jacksonville? That one too.
Jacksonville, New
Jacksonville.
No, it's not. It's Jacksonville, Iowa, and Milwaukee. They're still finalizing ownership for New Orleans for that, but 24-25 is when they're looking for the 3 teams. The issue is, we know Las Vegas is on life support, right? Right. You got to put San Diego Loyal possibly on life support, with the new MLS team coming into there.
Correct.
We saw what happened with the Bold, supposedly sold the rights to.
Well, you have 2 franchises right now floating in limbo right now.
Right.
And right now you have already announced Rhode Island is getting it. Rhode Island is starting next year.
10,000 seat stadium. Yep.
Right. So that'll replace that. You have 2 in limbo. You have 2 teetering on the edge. You have a new one coming in. Plus, like I said, Milwaukee, like you said, Iowa, where isn't that the Iowa Minutes are coming up to USL?
Des Moines Menace, yes.
Des Moines Menace, excuse me.
USL,
Correct, right.
USL,
Right.
USL Iowa is what they're called right now because they haven't done the naming
right. Formerly the club of Alan Marcina,
Yes.
the Des Moines Menace. So that's 2 coming in. So you got 2 teetering, 2 franchises in limbo, 2 coming in, plus possibly New Orleans and Milwaukee as well. So is it growing? Not necessarily, but at the same rate, League One is growing. League Two is growing even faster than the championship. So there's a lot of teams out there that could fill out that league for sure. And right now, what USL is thinking and what they've been thinking since it was announced that the US, Mexico, and Canada was going to get the World Cup is to strike while the iron is hot right now. That's why they want it done by 2025, so they could be the only Division I league in the United States that has pro rel, and then they can just market the crap out of themselves. So that's really what they want. So
So
do you think about this, about, with the adding teams, the situation with Canada, with being, almost bankrupt, you think the USL may might try to invest in those teams? Like I said, Edmonton, bring in like Edmonton, a couple of those, because they're not going to be MLS, but being part of the USL may be a benefit for them to make it grow a little bit more.
They can't, and the reason why is the Canadian Federation member Ottawa Furry wanted to stay in USL Championship and were forced to sell the rights, and that's how the Miami FC came into the league from NISA.
That's correct.
Silva purchased it. Plus, Canada, yes, the federation's bankrupt, but they are also trying to start their first Canadian Premier League, which gets.
Well, they've had a Premier League for a few seasons, including the Cavalry.
Correct.
Right, they've had the Cavalry and a few other teams. Go ahead. Sorry.
To me, this is why it's important for USL to try to get the D1 standing. Is with the CONCACAF Champion Leagues expanding. I think Canadian Premier League gets 2 or 3 slots. The argument is, USL Championship already is top 5 in the CONCACAF region. You could probably give a pretty fair argument on for that here, but because they're considered D2, their only shot is through through the qualifying. But to kind of transition this, because we could do a whole show on this, but we do need to get to San Antonio.
Yes, we could.
There's 2 questions that I have, and I guess they kind of go through here. And we'll go around the round table. Thoughts on how SAFC ownership would vote, and then to me, assuming that they're going to vote yes because they wanted MLS. If they are going to be one of the D1 teams initially, because if they're wanting to try for D1, they've got to get a 15-seat stadium. Do you think SAFC would invest to upgrade Toyota Field? Because let's be honest, Toyota Field was built to be upgraded for their here, and I don't think it'll cost money, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it would cost as much as most people think.
So I'll take this first. So it's 15,000. Minimum seat, not 15 seat, or else Toyota Field would be perfect.
Yeah.
It would be more than enough. So if I remember the figures correctly, and we have to obviously account for inflation, which is a big topic now and really a factor, absolutely. But from when the stadium was built in 2013, 2014, nope. Yep, 2013, when the stadium was built. That's right, because the next year was 2014, and we all remember that magical season. It was quoted back then that for a mere $50 million, the stadium could be expanded to 18,500 seats. So with inflation, let's say that's double. That's $100 million. That is so much cheaper. It wouldn't be $100 million, but let's just say it's double. Worst case scenario, plus they want to do some upgrades on the original design. $100 million for basically a brand new stadium with 18,500 seats is a drop in the bucket nowadays. That's not is it a lot of money? You're damn right it's a lot of money. But at the same rate, if the city, the county, and SS&E can come to an agreement on expanding that stadium, because that's probably because the city and county own it, then yeah, absolutely, you have a pretty big deal right there, and a pretty easy, if SS&E puts up $40-50 million of that, like I said, that's nothing for a new stadium of that size. That really is nothing. And the second thing, do they want to do it? Two reasons that SS&E absolutely votes yes. Number one, we all remember the fiasco with MLS and how they completely screwed over San Antonio FC, Spurs Sports Entertainment, and the city of San Antonio, including every taxpayer in San Antonio, which is all of us. Yes, we will not forget that. Full steam ahead. Anything to poke and prod in the eye of MLS, you're damn right they do it. And the second reason they want to do it, why wouldn't you want your investment? You would take a slight risk to have your investment explode in value. Duh. That's just an easy business answer. I'll leave the other answers up to Rafa. Rafa, fire away on how you think Spurs Sports Entertainment votes.
I think they vote yes. I think one really to stick it to Austin, the Precourt and Garber. You mentioned about the stadium expansion. I think that will help in the long run. Having an 18,000 seat stadium, not only like I said, you're gonna have, like I said, more bigger crowds, but also you're an opportunity to attract a lot of those friendly games. Like normally how we have the Chivas, like the Monterrey Tigres, but now we can get some of the bigger name teams that come and play in those stadiums, and that will help generate revenue. I'm sure they're going to improve on the suites, just have better suite areas, and people are going to be invested in buying those. So I think this is a good investment. I also see maybe if they do vote yes, they get outside investors. Maybe you'll see like a Tony Parker invest and be part of owner or something like that to kind of help compensate, get some funds to really kind of take it to the next level. So also hopefully they do vote yes on this.
Matt?
I would hopefully they would say yes. Like y'all both said, stick it to Austin, you get MLS and stuff. And the only thing I see a problem maybe a little bit is just the parking. That's just me. Where I would hopefully they would make it like a parking garage besides what Morgan's has, but an additional, just so that we could fill up that stadium a little bit more. There's more areas to so that way we can have people.
Matt, while you're not wrong, Q2 Stadium has like 20 parking spots on site, so there's that as well. But yeah, no, parking would need to get expanded for sure. But they have that entire rest of the quarry that the city owns.
Yeah,
that empty lot where they do all the RC planes and the drone. There's a lot of space for sure.
So that's just my. He's working.
No, that's a great thought. That's a great thought for sure. That's something out of the box that not a lot of people think about, but absolutely. And once it.
Hey, and then whoever designs that and owns it, man, that's gonna be. We'll pull in some money for that. But anyways, back to that. Yeah. But back to the vote. Yeah, man, I would greatly appreciate it too, because even thinking from a supporter's perspective, who says we don't get a bigger section? You never know. So I would definitely hope if it does happen and we do get this, like I would pray that it happens for us, because to me I feel like we deserve it. For doing as much as we've done, about how much we've grown, I say we definitely deserve it.
Robert?
Yeah, and I guess the root of it all, like anything, comes down to money. And if they see the potential for that return on investment, like Royce mentioned, I don't see why they wouldn't. I ultimately, the easiest answer is yes. And kind of to expand on what Matt's been talking about, and one thing that comes to mind that we spoke about before is expanding the parking. Can you imagine expanding that area though? Like develop that area to have like bars, restaurants, something. Because even when you mention that, what's that team north of us in the green? Harry said
The trees?
whatever that
The
stadium.
broccolis.
Yeah, the one thing they have is they have like a rail system, and that's why there's no parking. It's easily accessible via the city, and then they have so many facilities around there. But that's what I would love. For every sport here in the city of San Antonio, that's the one thing I crave the most, being that I visited a lot of northern counterparts in different pro arenas. Or stadiums. They have so much around the stadium. It just makes it an absolute experience for your family, for everybody. And I crave that. I desire that. It's a blast when you have something set up like that. So hopefully that would, trigger maybe some ideas or some situations where other businesses may come out there and just make it that much better for everyone.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, the only thing that would probably stop us from all those big restaurants and probably like alcohol licenses is just the Hero Stadium. But I mean, to the opposite side, who says they can't build more off that way? So, I mean, that's and I feel off of that too, because they're trying to feed more to the dome because of all these places renovating to get more restaurants and bars around the Alamo Dome now, to the point where they're trying to make it a big deal. And I'm guessing the city's recognizing that. So, I mean, who says they don't do that to Toyota Field? I mean, it would be a great thing for them to develop more jobs and more tourism around there.
Yeah, the only thing we had semi-close was the Alamo Dome. Like, you had the Riverwalk in proximity. Like, there was a lot of times you just go down there, go to a restaurant, go to a bar, hang out, and then go to the games or go whatever's going on there. Here, that's probably the closest thing we've had in the city, and I desire more of that. Absolutely.
I'm going to give you. We're going to move on to the game here, but I'm going to give you something to think about. The Spurs just spent how much million on a new Northwest development?
500 million on the
Inter
new
Miami
training
has
facility.
a pop-up stadium. I'm just saying, for the Spurs, if they really wanted to put, because from my understanding, they've got offices, community space, retail, kind of in that area. Toyota Field's nice, but it makes me kind of wonder, even if you did kind of a pop-up stadium like Inter Miami did, for like, especially if they're going to test it out, that would be an interesting thought, to where you could drive business to that facility to be able to do. And they have the property, and I think there's a lot that's for future development. But to me, I think they've got options to be able to do. But moving on to the game, injury report. We'll let Matt, you handle this one here. Can you see who was out?
David Lura. That's it.
That's it.
I thought it was a trick question because it says the Memphis Lions cover. I'm like, please tell me there's not something behind that.
I thought it was a typo. I was waiting for the rest. Is that a preliminary list? Where's the rest?
That was it. Only David Lura, and he's out for the
Poor
year,
guy,
so
man.
he's going to be on every one.
I messaged him the other day. I told him, "Hey man, prayers, dude. Like, we just want you to come back and at least hang out with us, leave Florida for a little bit."
So starting lineup was Farr, Taintor, Garcia, Batista, Maloney, Rita, Hayes, Jome, Juan Carlos Azocar, Jorge Hernandez, and Tani. On the bench was Mercado, Gomez, PC, Dillon, Nacho, Manley, and Isaiah Parker. So we'll start with you, Rafa. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Rafa, send it to Rafa, and then you'll come to me, and we'll discuss this.
Well, that's what we discussed the last episode. Finally, we're going to play the 3-4-3, and we're finally going to do a press. And we needed to do that because we got the players to do it, and you can see right there. So, and saw the end result. But I was happy about this lineup. This is what we did last year. We did some damage. We made teams uncomfortable with it. We're seeing to decide, hey, let's do this, and we'll get into the depth of the game, after this.
Royce?
All right. So here's the interesting thing that I think is interesting, and I think it has everything to do with tomorrow's match against El Paso. So the difference between this formation and this lineup versus the lineup against Birmingham, obviously, we play Birmingham here at Toyota Field, which is a wider pitch than at a baseball stadium, i.e., Memphis and El Paso. And I think this kind of gave Marcina and crew a good
precursor.
Kind of a precursor, I don't want to say a warm up. I'm trying to avoid saying warm up, but look at the score. It was a warm up
Precursor.
a precursor for playing El Paso on Wednesday. That's fair. That's kind of mean to call it a warm up. So I think Marcina and crew really wanted a wide midfield against Birmingham to kind of dominate the midfield and take it over from there. We saw kind of the issues that were involved with that, just because some of the players, it was a little different, especially the Hayes and Zuhair partnership in the midfield. But it kind of seemed to get sorted in that game. But we did have a 3-5-2 in that. The two forwards were Hansen and Tani, a little more pacey, a little once again, the press really showed up during Birmingham. The press very much was a lot more organized and really showed up in this game against Memphis. And you had the 3-4-3. I don't think they needed that extra midfielder for the width because the pitch is a little more narrow. So they sent them forward. They brought in a Sokar in place of Sokar was there, but he wasn't on a wing. He was up as a forward. You brought in Maloney to be that wing back. You just had Hayes and Zuhair in the midfield, and then up top you had Tani, you had Jorge, and you had a Sokar. You really had Jorge dominate on that left side, but they were switching all the time. All three of them were switching constantly in order to get in on the press. I think you're going to see a lot of the same things against El Paso tomorrow, so that'll be something to look out for. And I know a big thing that's been going around SAFC circles and podcasts and just on social media in general in the discussion of the team has been, what is your starting 11? I think we're getting it pretty close to nailed down in these last two games. We've been dominant. They've looked good. The press has been pretty incredible. In this game, it was very effective. In the Birmingham game, it was effective as well. We had 2 goals off of press, basically the JD goal in stoppage time and the Taney goal to make it 2-0. In this one, we'll go through the gameplay, but man, the press is back and it's back with authority. I really like Joe on that left side. He has impressed me both games that he's been in. Bringing in Maloney, that's your Sarge, that's your captain, absolutely on the field. And watching him, kind of tuck in as an extra midfielder to provide that extra midfielder when we're out of possession. I think it worked really well. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited to watch how this evolves. And it just kind of seems like Marcina and his staff are really pressing the right buttons. I'm going to send it over to Robert. Robert, how'd you feel about this lineup versus the one in Birmingham, and kind of your thoughts before the game was played?
Yeah, the big thing is you saw those minor tweaks, but the one thing that's been sticking out in my mind is just the chemistry that seems to have started to develop between Hernandez and Tani. It's almost like a shake and bake type thing where even on that third goal is even more apparent where he pressed inward. I mean, Hernandez came in, he kicked it out. Tani knew where to set up just for that shot. They're just showing that they're starting to read each other, and that's starting to give me a lot of high hopes. There's some times when it's like, are we going to put it together? Is there a lineup that's going to work? But this one seems to be effective in the last 2 matches. There's some minor tweaks, but those 2 guys have stood out the most recently. And the only question I have, and the only thing, it's a minor thing. I just, as far as the full 18, like Isaiah Parker versus Zico Bailey, Zico Bailey was such a spark plug. It leads me to think that there may be something contractual. I don't know. But outside of that, everything else, like I said, looks on the up and up, and we're starting to trend in the right direction, which is giving me happy vibes again. So.
All right, so let's go and start with the game plan. We'll kind of go over this incredible first half. So it's going to begin. With a Memphis over the top pass that just goes straight to Jordan Farr.
Can you hear it?
See it. Yeah, we can hear it.
Okay.
But I didn't like the commentary. I thought it was kind of
Bush.
so. That's kind of how this started. Was
You want me to mute it then, or no?
no, it's all good. That's kind of how it started with Tani. Well, I mean, turn it down. But that's kind of how it started. Was a Tani surprise shot, kind of out of nowhere, and that kind of showed.
Stop right there.
Yeah, let's pause it.
Pause it right there.
Go back just a tiny bit. Yeah.
Yeah, what Memphis was trying. I think what Memphis was trying to do, like the last couple of games, like normally, is they like to play wide, and I think the emphasis on the game plan. If you're going to see a lot of our players stealing balls when they were played wide, and we were getting to them, and we were countering them, and like I said, we got a couple scores. And here's a perfect example right here. This one's played wide, and watch what Jomi does right here on this play.
So a big thing that happens in this one as well is there's supposed to be two pass. Well, leave it there. Leave it there. There's two passes that are supposed to be taken right now. These are the three options that are supposed to be there for the player that Memphis has, that Memphis is looking for, and it's the guy up here that's on the other side of Jome, right? Of Jome. The secondary is supposed to be here directly in the midfield. That Zokar just made a gut-busting run to cover right there, so that passes
Number
off.
6.
Correct. And then you have Jorge. Jorge is running towards the guy behind the ball carrier, and he's kind of showing that he's going to cut off that pass. Well, as he's moving over there, the ball carrier feels he's under pressure. He needs to make that pass quickly. The guy he's passing to is trying to get open, and that's kind of where it breaks down for Memphis. It's a basic miscommunication is what happens there, and the miscommunication happens because of SAFC's press, even in this little moment right here. Go ahead, Rafa.
And you also see Batista there, right there. He's covering that spot. That pass is going to go down line. He's there to clean it up. So. And that caused that bad pass in the back.
It's all about taking away passing lanes and forcing a mistake, and that's where this worked to perfection. Go ahead. So there you go. There's a missed pass. Hernandez takes it right to Tani. Tani gets in the perfect area right between the center backs. One of them is apparently an all USL center back. Sure, I didn't see it, but okay. And Tani finishes and beats Bill Hamid, former USMNT goalkeeper Bill Hamid. Right there.
There's
pretty easy.
Right here, defend Memphis. They didn't defend.
They scored on Memphis.
Yeah, they kind of forgot about that one. Absolutely. So that's the first in the first half in the 15th minute. And then here's Tani posing with his buddy.
He's doing the Captain Morgan.
Yeah.
Little stance.
And then they're going to show the replay here. The second goal we can set up real quick. So it's kind of on a similar pressing action as Marcino would put it, but that's just perfect right there. So I guess they really had to fill 4 minutes of all 4 goals. So, so here, well, no, this is just Tani dominating. The third one is the one I'm thinking of, but that's just Tani dominating absolutely. And then Bill Hamid spills yet another glaring mistake for Memphis. Bill Hamid spills it. Tani puts it in. 2-0.
But this was one on the shoulder tackle outside the box.
It's Tani's physicality.
Yes, that's where this was won.
Absolutely. It's the physicality, and it's the Memphis player. He goes down looking for the foul, and the ref's like, there's no foul. To be honest with you, a different ref calls that. So is it a foul? It's absolutely not a foul. God, I hate that.
Pitch.
Yeah, I hate that grass on the – and I think that has a lot to do with that goal going in.
Yeah.
Is the –
it's hard to judge the ball.
Right, the temporary grass on the infield dirt. And
it looks like he kept scooping it up with his foot.
But
I don't know.
Rafa and I had the discussion here. Do you think Tani was trying to shoot or was he trying to cross? I think he
No,
was
that was
trying
a
to
cross.
That was
No,
That's a
you
cross.
see, if you see his head, he's looking at his Zorkar there.
yeah,
It's a
cross.
cross.
It's just it gets caught off.
It's absolutely
Now
a
he
cross.
followed it up like he's supposed to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's one of the.
You can see him. He's eyeing him. And if that goes through, that's a tap in for a Zokar.
Yep.
Now Memphis did respond.
Absolutely, and Jordan Farr also responded accordingly 2 or 3 times in this match. Which, yeah, without Jordan Farr, this is a lot closer of a match. This basically kind of came down to Jordan Farr versus Bill Hamid, and Jordan Farr passed every test. Here's a really nice save.
There's
And
a reason
then,
why he's the number 1 keeper there.
Absolutely, and there's Jome and Batista getting in the way there. But yeah, here's Memphis's chances really were. And this is a communication. This is what Taintor and Maloney need to really work on. Last year, they were Batman and Robin, and they worked really well together. There's been a goal plus this chance already happened because of that, where Taintor shows the inline, Maloney comes in to try to help out. There's a miscommunication over who takes over, and the opposing player just goes right between them. That's happened a few times.
That was a cheeky pass.
A very cheeky little back heel there. Once again, an unbelievable save by Jordan Farr there. Absolutely. To keep this thing 2-0. And then this goes in, but they called JD for offside. It looked marginal, but at the same rate, it's 2-0. If it's marginal, they're going to call it
does
offside.
Look like he is offsides. Although, speaking of that,
I'm gonna be changing
Rafa,
next year.
is it next year when it comes into play?
I think next year. Yeah.
Next year.
I think for USO, I think it'll be next. I guess March. I think the FIFA season it starts this early August.
Yeah, IFAB has that rule where it's not the leading edge, it's the back edge of the player, right? Has to remain level with the defender.
You got to see the daylight, kind of like the goal.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. And then here's where just runs right through.
Dancing shoes.
Yeah, this is not the first time that No, but that's not the first time that Hernandez danced through the Memphis defense. That's the first time. We're going to see it again, and it's much more nasty the second time. But there's Tani with the natural hat trick in the first half. Not even at the 40th minute. In the 39th minute, he completes his first half hat trick. Unbelievable performance. And this puts him one below the league lead for the golden boot at the end of the season, which is insane.
That was a good call by Tani there to kind of he could have gone in if you watch that. He looked up and he spotted him. Hey, you know what? Let me clear some space.
Yeah,
let's get back to the top of the 18.
That's the chemistry you're seeing between the two. That's the thing.
And another thing we saw a lot in the few games before the Birmingham game was guys making the exact same run. We saw that a few times. Right there, Rita is already in the space that Tani was looking to take over, and he realizes where he's at. He moves. He makes himself available, puts it in the net. So, and then here's Jorge Hernandez just.
No, that's Tani again.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's Tani. Big save from Bill Hamid.
Should have been number 4.
That's like a microcross. Tani he was giving him fits.
And here we go.
Whole game. They had no answer for him. Yeah.
Here is just 1 ankle, 2 ankles, 3 ankles, 4 ankles, 5 ankles. Bill Hamid on the ground, chip over.
Yeah, that was
unbelievable cap off.
That's filthy.
And the game's barely halfway over.
No, the game was over at that point.
Well, I mean, time-wise, literally, it's barely halfway through. And
in San Antonio, this was when Wemby first started here, so everybody was kind of able to turn their attention to the Wemby first match.
Yeah, Robert and I watched this at Mad Pecker, and the Wemby game was on the big screen, and then we had this on my laptop in there, and it was nice.
Talk about breaking ankles there.
It's nasty, just nasty. 5-on-1, and still, it's just ridiculous.
But it still wasn't done.
Not at all. Memphis once again with opens up a decent chance, and Farr just with an insane save there.
Team defense closing it up too. How impressive of a save was this, Robert or Rafa?
That was great.
He made himself big.
That's all you can ask for is make yourself big there. And then that's a little dangerous there because you can get kicked in the hand there. But he made a great save there.
Or in the head. I've been kicked in the head a couple times.
So that's why you're good.
Yeah, you go. That's what it is.
That's why.
Explains a lot.
Luckily, that pitch didn't affect Jordan too much because you could see it there from the first half with Memphis' goalkeeper having trouble with that. But Jordan was able to adapt to it.
Just super uneven. Like there's a big difference between the infield and the regular grass.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty for sure. But good 4-0 win. What are you going to complain about? Absolutely nothing. Jordan Farr's on fire. Unbelievable performance. From this match, we had Jordan Farr, Mitchell Taintor, Tani, obviously. Well, let's save him for last. Jorge Hernandez all made the team of the week. Plus, Tani Oluwaseyi also made the team of the week. Plus, player of the week. So, no big surprise there. Unbelievable performance. And we're just heating up. They're just heating up. This is not the final form. This is just them improving. And this is kind of what I've been saying. Let Marcina find a consistent lineup. Let them build some chemistry. Let them grow together. We're witnessing right now. We're witnessing the power up. So let's see how Wednesday goes. But absolutely, we are definitely witnessing the power up of SAFC, which annually this is around where it happens. So,
and I think looking at the stats, I think they'll kind of surprise people because I didn't feel it this way, but possession was 70-30, which that I think everybody agree. Memphis had 17 shots, 6 on target. We had 12 shots, 7 on target. We had 6 corners. We had 5 offsides for that, so that's still kind of a buggy boo. We had 15 fouls. They had 9. But we had 5 big chances. We missed 2. They had 2 and missed 2 of theirs here. But to me, what I liked is we had 8 shots inside the box, but we also had 4 shots outside the box. And then, of course, Farr had 6 saves. We're back to Rafa's below average, 56% on passing. Only had 118 completed here. But to me, like I said, I knew Memphis took shots, but I didn't think it was quite that to that volume. Especially where they had 6 on target. I know we saw 3 or 4 of them, which were big saves. So to give Memphis credit, when they did get an opportunity, Farr stood on his head and kept the shutout, which is something you like to see, especially usually in games like this. When it's 3-0, you give up a goal late. Just games in the bag at that point. But any stats that stick out to you guys? We'll go with you, Matt. Any stats or final comments on the?
It was just great seeing domination for once, or a very consistent domination where we didn't really have to worry as much. That's what I took from it, because like you said, at the 46th minute or 47th minute, and y'all were there too. I could freely turn around and just watch Wemby play. So very comfortable, very comfortable.
I'd like to give out a wholehearty congratulations to Ish Jome. In the 36th minute, he got his first yellow card, so he's officially a San Antonio FC player. So congratulations. Also, Maloney and Batista also got yellow cards. Batista, I think, that's his 6th, so 2 more, and he's on yellow card suspension watch again. Isn't that how that works, or did they get rid of the second one? Right, 8 or 9.
I'll have to see, but no,
8 or 9?
There's more.
We should do some research for sure. So he, one or two more, maybe three more, he gets suspended again. We'll see
I
what
believe
happens.
it's 7 and then 10 is when if he doesn't give
Okay.
through there, if memory serves me right.
I remember it was 5 and 8 at some point, but there's a lot more games, so that makes sense. So 5 and 8 was like 3 or 4 years ago. So beyond that, Tani Oluwaseyi is now the franchise record holder in hat tricks with 2. Unbelievable. And he's according to San Antonio FC social media team, he is averaging a goal every 72.2 minutes this season. Ridiculous.
That's not bad.
Ridiculous. Harry, back to you.
So looking at the standings here, out east, Tampa Bay Rowdies first at 34 points. River Hounds second at 32. They did us a favor by drawing Sacramento. Charleston, 31 points, had a bye. Louisville City, 29. Memphis had the opportunity to get close to first. Now they're in fifth. Legion at 23. Indy 11 lost to Tulsa, and Tulsa is at 19 points, not 16. 19 points. Loudoun just on the outside. Detroit City, Miami, and Hartford. Hartford's not doing well at all, despite coaching changes. Out west, Sacramento, 34. San Antonio, El Paso, we'll talk about that here in a second. They second and third at 31. Switchbacks have kind of rebounded, 9-1 and 9 at 28. Loyal beat Hartford, so congratulations. Everybody was all excited for the Loyal Nation at ECUP. Monterey Bay, 26. Phoenix Rising, 25. New Mexico United, 25. RGV's making their climb out from the basement at 23. Pay attention to them. They've been on a good roll. They play El Paso on Saturday, so for CopaTejas, big week for USL for that here. Oakland Roots, 23 points. Orange County lost to RGV. And the Lights, probably the hardest luck team, I guess you'd say, for it here, where they're at 11 points, only 1 win, but 8 draws, 9 losses, but if you look at their losses, especially compared to Hartford, it's a night and day scenario. So big one though this week, tomorrow night, El Paso, San Antonio, frenemies get together again. 8th Notch, Crocketeers, 210 FTC. Unfortunately, because they put it on Wednesday, I don't know of anybody that's going for that here. Early injury list, Larrera's out and questionable. One Carlos Ozacar with an upper body injury, which kind of surprised me. I thought it was a lower body injury on how he left, but who knows how that is. Thoughts on the matchup with El Paso? I know we've kind of hinted about the baseball field, the precursor, from Memphis to El Paso. This isn't last year's El Paso. This is a solid El Paso team. They are in a little bit of a scoring drought right now. They lost to New Mexico United, drew Monterey Bay 0-0 on the road here. So it'll be an interesting match here.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get to it, I'm going to go over the mentality monsters of the match.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
For the match against Memphis. So the SA Mexican is in here. Jordan effing Farr. Tani's hat trick was great, but it looked so easy, and he cooled off in the second half. Well, he didn't need to score again. What are we talking about? Farr had to keep up the monster mentality all match. So, I mean, yeah, I agree with that one. That's fine. Hernandez, Jorge Hernandez. So at Randy Rogers 7 says Hernandez assisted on 2 of Tani's goals and 1 of his own. That's why he made the team of the week. Wholeheartedly agree. Had a great game. At Goleador Sucioso says Tani's the obvious answer and he should probably win, but Farr stayed locked in and made some important save to make sure it wasn't closer than it should have been or waste Tani's performance. At Fredville SA said, although Jorge Hernandez had a beautiful goal, it has to be Tani Oluwaseyi with his amazing hat trick in the first half. Hashtag mentality monster. Right there with you, brother. At Chris Gonzo 1985. Can it be 3 stars of the night? Tani, Jorge, and Jordan all played a huge role in the win. Once again, we're right there with you, brother. And our friend Darius at Der Schattenwolf, Shadow Wolf. Tanny, why do you even ask? Yeah, I mean, what am I going to tell you? Agreed. Matt, who's your mentality monster of the match for the Memphis win?
Mine's gonna be Jorge. Jorge for sure, man. That I think that play should have been on ESPN. He put not only 1 but 3 players on skates. I thought that should have been on ESPN, but that's just me.
Yeah, that was soul crushing for Memphis for sure. That was disgusting. Robert, your mentality monster of the match?
I guess like performance wise, all 3 of those are solid candidates. The one that kind of pushes well, the one that comes to mind is the Farr, like more so because like the timing of the saves. It was in situations where we're up by 1, 2 goals where if we let one in, the momentum and everything could have changed all at once. And the second thing is like how many rumblings about, his faltering. He had a few mistakes and the fans are just kind of, seem to be almost like questioning things about the past and how good he is. And for him just to show once again, okay, everyone needs to just settle down. He didn't quite say it. He'll never say it himself, but like
remember me? Remember me? Yeah, I
like,
thought you remembered me. Yeah, exactly.
That's what stood out to me. Those 2 ideas is that, the timing of the saves, I mean, they're great no matter what, but especially at the moment that they happen and on top of it, to kind of silence any critics.
Yeah, I think Jordan Farr's song of the week or song of the month needs to be "Don't Forget About Dre" for sure. Rafa, your mentality monster of the match for the win at Memphis.
Well, this one goes out to all the haters and all the doubters that someone should have been benched here on out. There's a reason why for Jordan Farr is the U.S. goalkeeper of the year. So for the one that said he needs to be
Nobody
benched,
seriously said that, right?
oh yes, they did. So I'm dropping the mic on. I'm dropping the mic on your face.
There's a couple people, yeah.
Like I said, I'm dropping the mic in your face. Is Jordan Farr? He's my mentality monster of the match. If he doesn't make those saves, this game could have been gone the other way.
Fight.
Wow. Wow. Calm down. Harry, who's your mentality monster of the match?
I always go a little bit alternative because I think there's obvious ones. But I'm going to go with Rita Zahir. Had 27 touches, 9 of 11 for accurate passes with 1 key pass. He won half of his ground duels. He did have 3 fouls, which I don't mind here. 2 tackles. But in the midfield, between him and Hayes, they were locking it down and doing it here. So I'm going to I'll give the slight edge to Rita, with his passing, because that's a key part of the attack is being able to get the ball transitioned. And I know there's obvious ones through here, but one that may be a little bit under the radar with Rita and the performance that he had.
I absolutely agree with you, Harry. The best compliment that I can give Ja'Cory Hayes and Rita Zahir in this game is I didn't notice them, and that's perfect. That's exactly what you want your midfield to be. I didn't notice them. That means they had a perfect game. My mentality monster of the match, though, is going to be Coach Marcina. Bringing back the press. We're bringing it back. We're rolling it back. We're running.
Yeah.
We're running hot. We're getting hotter. Let's go. All right, let's move on to El Paso. Harry?
What about El Paso here now? What do you want to talk about?
They stink and I hate them. All right.
I don't like them. That's what they
I don't like them.
Well, it's not the same without Yuma. We don't have Yuma to bitch about.
No, but Lucho's
but we still got
Lucho's really taking the reins.
Lucho took the mantle. Yes. Yeah.
But we outplayed them that game, and honestly, Lucho should have gone to second yellow. Should have been tossed out, and that game would we just made 2 bad mistakes. They took advantage of it. But we really outplayed them in that first go around because we jumped on them, and I think this game they needed to do kind of the same formula like they did at Memphis: jump on them early, pressure them, make them very. That's the thing. I know me and Harry's gone there a couple. Like I said, when we went to El Paso, that's what they did right away is make them play uncomfortable there at their home stadium, And like I said, I think we've gotten a couple positive results the last few years over there. So I think Marcino knows how to win there, and I think we have the formula to knock them off tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Last loss was August 4th of 2021 to a loss in El Paso. Since then, we are 3 wins and 2 draws against them, including a 1-0 win last July 23rd, actually, which I believe is a Saturday because we went to that match here. The other match prior to that, August 6th, 2021, 3-3 draw, and I believe we were dominating that match, and then El Paso came back late to
Well, no, we didn't dominate that one. What happened was we were up 2-0. They scored, they tied it, and then they took the lead 3-2. No.
Yeah.
It was 2-2. They drew, and then we scored. What was it?
No. You're right. No, you're right. Diego
was a
Luna
long-
scored in the 85th minute, and then Courtney Ford scored in the 90+4.
Correct, to draw. Right,
from Mitchell
exactly.
Head.
Diving
Yeah,
header.
it was it Taintor that passed it to Courtney Ford
assist.
with the header?
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah, so unbelievable. Because we're just like, are you serious? Did we just lose this? And then we drew. We're like, oh, we're excited, but still, we drew. We should have won this game. Yeah, I remember that one.
But season series, 3 wins for El Paso, 3 draws, 4 wins for San Antonio. It's always a fun match. Usually close. If there's lots of goals in it, this is either a 1-0 game or there's usually 2 or 3 goals in the mix. But reason why this is important is right now they're even on points. If you get a winner, number 1, you're back in the for the Copa Shield. It draws San Antonio back into it. More importantly, for the CopaTejas, is El Paso will be done with us. They play RGV on Saturday, so they would put El Paso in the driver's seat for CopaTejas to where they could win it before we even play RGV. So this is a huge match for CopaTejas. It's a huge match come tiebreaker wise, for USL Championship West. Obviously, we want to keep the pressure on Sacramento because we're only 3 points behind them. To me, like I said here, we're even with El Paso. And they have a game in hand. So it's a huge match. I wish it wasn't on a Wednesday. USL has to get better at these midweek games with rivals, and I do consider El Paso a rival, even though it's 8 hours away.
Definitely gonna be a physical match, and I think the big thing is just playing with emotion but keeping them in check. No silly, right? There's gonna be some chippiness. It always happens, and they're gonna be, diving like Lucho likes to do. He's all of a sudden made of paper once you bump him, but he's not afraid to check you. So just keep that in check and no silly fouls, and get on top of them early and stay organized in the back. That's the key. Get on top of them, stay organized in the back. Nothing cheap, no freebies, no. Miscalculations of back, miscommunication, stuff like that. If we can reduce that, we have an amazing chance.
Robert, do you think we maybe have Taintor locked in on Lucho, kind of like gum on this game to really kind of be a little thorn on his side?
Yeah,
especially how
Taintor or Bautista, someone that can kind of give him fits, just constantly keep him in check, kind of harass him. Try it. You can take a personal mark. I haven't seen that done in the past, but I wouldn't be a bad plan.
I think if you keep the ball off his feet, they're not going to win. I think they run a lot of the offense through them, and if you kind of frustrate them the whole night, keep them away from touching the ball, like I said, they're not going to be able to do anything. Let someone else try to beat you tomorrow night.
And he plays pretty even kill, but for some reason against us, he always has those emotional lash outs. He tends to get a little bit more excited, maybe because he used to play with us, maybe because they're talking trash back and forth. Who knows what? But he seems to come out of his shell and act a little different in the games against us for whatever reason.
Anybody else got anything before we move on to Gold Cup before we get out of here?
Nope.
So looking at Gold Cup here, both matches tomorrow, right? For here.
US first and then after.
USA versus Panama, and Jamaica versus Mexico. U.S. squeaked by Canada on PKs. Matt Turner, GOAT. Panama got past Qatar. To me, out of the two matches, I think USA has the easier path because I do think Jamaica's, U.S. caught a break playing them in the first match, but Jamaica, Mexico, to me, I think it's going to be a barn burner, and I think that's what is that Reliant?
Las Vegas,
Oh,
Allegiant.
it's in Las Vegas. So, Matt, did you change shirts?
No, I was wearing this the whole time.
Oh God. Did you lose a bet or something?
Dang.
His Qatar jersey's in the wash. So, Rafa, you want to preview that match against Jamaica real quick?
Yeah, this is, Jamaica always plays Mexico tough. It's always a tough matchup. I think what Jamaica brings is that speed, and I know they've had some issues playing with teams with speed. The key is if Machine Edson Alvarez is going to be able to play tomorrow. I know he had a little dinger on the last game. He had to get subbed out. But like I mentioned before, this is a project. This is a Jimmy Lozano project. He's starting to get things going. He got that team going in the second half. He made the right adjustments. And you can see the team is gaining confidence. From these games. Yeah, I know the game with Qatar. He had Exa. He changed the lineup for that. He wanted to see what those younger players can do. He's challenging them, and I think that's what's been missing is having a manager that can challenge you and see what you can do. Because after this, he's going to really kind of evaluate, who really needs to be on this team and who doesn't, and the ones who do need to be team. Okay, what do we need to do here to develop, and what other players? Because that was a discussion that was made. Like I started watching the game here in Del Rio. They actually have Canal 5, which is another station here from across, and they had 3 different commentators, which 2 of them used to play. One played for the national team, and one coached the national team, and they made an analysis that they want. Like I said, this is going to tell what they need to do moving forward. Because I think the next preparation is for next year. Can they have a competitive team for Copa America? So, like I said, any good result for them, it's a positive result. They get a setback. Hey, it's still a learning experience. But like I said, I think they have the right guy with Jimmy Lozano as a head coach, and I think he's going to do some good things moving forward.
Royce and Robert, your thoughts on the U.S. match?
Robert, go ahead.
I mean, the biggest thing with the U.S. team I've noticed, at least in this cup, is like they're so Jekyll and Hyde. Like some games they look pretty solid, and then all of a sudden, it just seems like a bit of a disaster. It's like so much disorganization. I mean, in the Canada game, there wasn't a whole lot of offense. I'd say the first 80 minutes of that game were like typical CONCACAF. It was not there was some creativity, but it was kind of lacking in quality, like in general terms. And I would say like all of a sudden, like then it started to get exciting at the end. We got our goal, and then Canada got their gift, that PK. So, hopefully this one they turn it around. Like I said, the Gold Cup, I'm not putting a whole lot of weight in it. Copa America seems to be a little bit more of a focus, and then, like I said, the Nations Cup was like the one where they put more of their chips on the table. So, this is more feeling out what other players are going to fit in the roster or in the program in general. So, I'm excited to see it, and it's gonna be fun. But like I said, we should beat Panama no matter what squad we're rolling out. So, I'm hoping for a positive result.
Yeah, this is absolutely the B/C team for sure. But at the same rate, these are the players we have, and this is what we have to discuss for the game. So in Canada, we had a lot of disappointing performances. They're very tentative. Some of the kids that have looked good the entire tournament kind of had a stinker, and they kind of let Canada get a little too close. Jalen Neal, who we remember had a defensive mistake that gave Shana Gomez a chance to tie the game in the very last minute against Los Dos. Was that last season or was that 2021 at Toyota Field? He kind of had a stinker. He had a few passes out of bounds. Brandon Vasquez skied a penalty kick when it went to PKs, but at the same time, he scored a goal, so kind of a wash. Jordan Morris looks like a shell of himself. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's injured or what's going on. He didn't look good. And just a few players just haven't looked good, but you also have some players that have looked very good. The left back Jones has looked unbelievable.
Bucio's is good too.
Bucio's been okay. Mihailovic has been all right. Ferreira, that tying Canada goal should have never happened because Ferreira needs the foul right there. He needs to take the yellow card and kill that break, but he let the guy go and he ends up scoring. So mark against Ferreira, but Ferreira has looked really good. And Matt Turner, what am I going to tell you? He told BJ Callahan before the Nations League, before the Gold Cup, I'm here all summer. I need to get playing time. I'm with you. I'm your guy. Let me play. And that's the performance we're going to get out of him. The U.S. #1 by a mile. So love to see it.
Do you think it helps Turner in England at all with this, or you think he's stuck kind of as a backup?
He's going to be the backup for no matter what to Ramsdale, but it definitely helps, going back. The form he's in, he's going to make that conversation a little more difficult, and that's all he can hope to do.
Any final thoughts in regard to the Gold Cup? I want to try to keep this a little bit shorter just because, like I said here, we went real long last time, and I don't want to get back-to-back scolded by Royce here. Plus, I know Royce isn't in his normal area, so I know it's impacting family movability, we'll just say. Matt's always comfortable, in Matt's basement. Robert, always love Robert. Rafa, also, renting space in a third-party home. So, final thoughts. We'll start with you, Robert, with all your cool memorabilia behind you.
Oh, that's just because I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Work's gonna go by quicker than normal. Excited to see some football after work, like I said, and crush El Paso. Let's go.
Are we going anywhere? Well, I guess I shouldn't say we. It's a Wednesday. Anybody going anywhere to watch it? I know. I believe the Crocketeers have one at Alamo Beer. I haven't seen. Have I seen one for FTC? Matt?
They're gonna post it tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We just finished talking the second pitch, telling them it's a midweek game, so whoever wants to go out to second pitch, they're doing $1 beer off. $1 off your beer if you're wearing FTC or SAFC gear.
Mm-hmm. And 210, I'm not sure where. I haven't seen 210. I know they typically hang out with you guys here.
210 is pretty much any big hops.
My final thoughts, a shout out to Jenica. She stepped down as president of the Crocketeers after 2.5 years on the board. She's going to take time to spend time with family. I can tell you just from experience, all the time and effort and stuff that position or any position within the Crocketeers board takes with the tailgates and all of that stuff. And Matt can kind of concur with all the stuff that we don't see, that goes on behind the scenes with SAFC, the other supporters groups and all that stuff here. So shout out to Jenica. Thank you for your service. Like I said here, I know we'll still see you at the game. I know we'll still see you, at the TIFO stuff here, because I do know you would really enjoy that here. But for me, like I said here, thank you for all that you've done. Like I said, you carried the leadership of the Crocketeers well, and it'll be interesting to see who the next individual steps up for the Crocketeers as president is. Who's next, Rafa?
Just final thought. I guess I'm just excited for tomorrow. It's about 3 big games, so SAFC sandwich in between both of them, so it should be a fun night. I'll be driving back from Del Rio tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be making time for for the games and so forth. So I'm looking forward to that, and also looking forward to the Sutherland practice on Friday. So if you got your ticket, so make sure you head up to Toyota. I'm gonna probably bring a little ball, get it signed for other players, and get to see some English team practice and so forth. So it should be fun. So make sure we'll see you guys on Friday.
We didn't talk about that. Any thoughts on Sunderland coming? It should, from my understanding, it's going to be close to a sellout, if not a sellout. I saw it's going to be held on was it Bally's Sports Southwest, so it's getting the proper coverage. Go ahead, Matt.
So to put on that, there are that I'm aware of. There are 18 seats or tickets left for the bunker. So I'm thinking the bunker's going to be sold out that game. Yep.
Should be a fun one. I think maybe we'll see some of the bench players and maybe some of the academy kids play this one. Since we got a couple, I think like a 3-game homestand coming up, or 2-game with
and they're off for
because we got the game one on the
following Saturday.
Back to the 22nd. That we got, I think, Miami and Hartford coming up.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, a big win tomorrow, and 2 winnable home games right there. That's if we can get those 9 points, we can be really back into the top spot. Put pressure on Sacramento.
Yeah, the Sunderland match is going to be my final thought. Thanks for ruining that, Harry.
Sorry, we hadn't talked about it.
That's always a surprise final thought. What are we talking about here? No, I'm very excited for it. It's going to be great. It's going to be some English Championship / Premier League talent coming to Toyota Field. Last time we had this a few years ago was 2019 when Cardiff City came in and we played the friendly against them. Looking forward to the pitch being in a much better condition than it was back then. But at the same rate, this is exciting. Hopefully this is a thing we get going forward. Another thing we've been talking about, obviously, to kind of coincide with some of the stuff we've been talking about, is possibly if ProRail does pass in USL and they go ahead with it, and the city, the county, and Sports Entertainment decide to expand Toyota Field, this will obviously entice even larger clubs to come through San Antonio, which is only a good thing for the city, for the fans, for everybody. So definitely with Wembanyama being here and an international talent, maybe we'll get some French teams coming in. Sky's the limit for this one, absolutely. So that's very exciting. Definitely looking forward to watching Sunderland. I followed Sunderland since they signed Josie Altidore back in the day. Was that 2000? I don't want to say what year I think it was, but it's going to date myself, but that was a long time ago. And I've been pretty much following them ever since with the Sunderland Till I Die Netflix documentary, which is, I believe it's 2 seasons. There's going to be, I believe a third one was made last season. So definitely worth watching, definitely worth your time on that one. One of the more real, visceral soccer documentaries that's been created. Just to give you a little pretext of who Sunderland is and the Stadium of Light and what that really means to the city center there in Sunderland, and kind of who the people are and who's coming. So definitely looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to taking my son there and us getting that getting introduced to that and really experiencing that. I'm really looking forward to that. So I believe that's it. We went through everybody correct. We're good. Matt, what's your final thought?
My final thought is I know a lot of people are questioning on chants, on our chants. So if no Newcastle, but like I posted in our fan chat, I'm gonna be hosting a practice tomorrow. If anybody wants to learn their chants, I'll be open to it. I'll stick around for an hour or two. We do have chants. It's just a matter of fact of people wanting to go to the bunker to learn them. Like I said, we have a good 20, maybe 22 chants. So y'all want to come learn them with us? Come to the bunker. I promise you, we make sure nobody gets turned away. We try to bring you in to welcome you to the experience, but also at the same time join in and help us out to let the whole stadium hear our voice. So, like I said, Friday after or during, whichever people prefer, I could teach some people some of our chants, and if some of the FTC guys go, we'll maybe chant a little bit that are friendly to Sunderland. But like I said, we do
Friendly
have
to
chants.
Sunderland. What the hell, dude? No.
It says SAFC. Some of them do. So
Oh, that's true. Yes. Okay.
Those wankers.
But I do have a question
Oh,
here,
Lord.
because I'm starting to see a little bit more coordinated effect out of 115 on chants. I'm drawing a blank on the gentleman's name.
Ben.
For that here.
In Hester.
Ben.
Ben, yeah.
But are we? I know there's been trying to be a push of at the beginning of a game to have everybody do a chant, and then maybe at the beginning of the second half along those lines. Is that something that's still in discussion, or?
So I just got a message right before our show from Ben. We're still gonna try to continue that. We're trying 100% to make that kind of like a quote unquote ritual. But we're just trying to get something going to where everybody hears our chants and probably get something traditional going. So yes, we are doing that chant. I'm guessing on well, not even guessing. We are doing it on Saturday.
All right. You want to send us out, Royce?
Absolutely. Everybody, thanks for joining. Like we said, like, subscribe, follow, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff. It'll help us out and help us get the word out. Appreciate you for listening. And if you stuck around this far, why not just give a like and all that good fun. So what's life without goals?